Yo, what's up, your buddy Domuto. We're back with another video. Today, we are starting the Merno arc. Now, do y'all want me to, I saw there was like 2 long-ass videos of Merno. I think it was like the original story of Merno. I guess he attacked them before. I don't know if y'all want me to watch that or start with this one. So, let me know down below, because I'm going to probably watch one thing of this, so I won't ruin it. And then I'm just, if y'all want me to watch the original story, then we can watch that, whatever. Just let me know. All right, but let's get into it. Original Merno battle for survival begin.
As the story of the original Merno opens up with the Grand Priest being shown on Beerus' planet alongside both Goku and Vegeta, and from there being shown having to look up in the sky and now sensing that Merno has indeed entered the multiverse, that's when the Grand Priest went on to comment, "The process is complete. Merno, the once guardian of the former 13th universe, is reborn. His presence can be felt all throughout the 12 universes. I feared this day
I know that 13th universe was destroyed.
Now I see what must be done.
And
this was
like
never
that shit.
intended to happen," the Grand Priest says, and from what I'm sensing, his heart is overwhelmed by rage and hatred. I sense both a great loss and burning desire at getting revenge settling in. He is too far gone to be reasoned with, he adds. I can't sense his power or life energy, Beerus adds. Can you, Whis? Has he truly transcended beyond what he was? As Whis went on to respond, it's more than just transcending. It's as though he is an entirely new being, a soulless one, he adds. This is how I remembered him by, except he wasn't consumed by this darkness and hatred. So, how strong do you think Merno is now compared to how he was before, Goku asks? I can't seem to feel his energy at all. You think he truly is everything he said he was going to be? By the expression on Whis' face, Vegeta adds, I'd say we are not going to be dealing with the same person, Kakarot. There's no telling what we are in for once we run into him again. We are going to need to give it our all if we even hope to survive, let alone beat him, he adds. Especially if his clones were difficult to deal with, let alone his true body. I don't like this, Vegeta says. This might be one fight we cannot win, Kakarot. Wait, so if his true power and original body is now restored, then where exactly is he, Goku asks? As in the meantime, with Merno then shown having to exit through the dark dimension and now having to enter Universe 8, it was during this point in time where Merno had finally gone in initiating his plans and seeing it through, as he then went on to comment, now to begin, Universe 8 will be the leading example of my judgments. I sense a universe teeming with life that has no purpose to exist in my world. These mortals here don't pose any threat to me, he adds, and to think these gods would rather choose to protect these creatures over their own kind. It's been generations since the last time I came into this universe. Look how far it's fallen. Pathetic. It's time to purge you from this paradise you call life, Merno says. Your loss of life will not be remembered. Let this be an example to the gods. As with one simple glare, what Merno had gone and doing was Merno was then shown wiping out multiple planets just by having to simply exist. As Merno from there went on to continue, the loss of billions doesn't come close to the exile I've faced. To be condemned for wanting better. No, it will be you who will be condemned, Merno says. It's been a very long time since I was able to do this. By only using a small portion, let's see how many will fall, Merno adds. They brought this onto themselves, as out of nowhere what Merno had gone and doing was Merno from there had taken initiative in firing a gigantic blast deep into outer space, and going as far as to wipe out trillions of life forms by blowing up hundreds of planets. As even the Grand Priest was able to sense this on Beerus' planet, that's when Whis went on to walk on over by asking, Grand Minister, do you also sense this great loss of life in the 8th? I do, Whis, says the Grand Priest. It has begun. I wasn't expecting for him to enter Universe 8, but rather come here first. But why? There must be a reason for this, the Grand Priest says. As hundreds of different planets are then shown being destroyed in Universe 8, it was only from that point on where a voice went on to ask Merno, and just what the hell do you think you're doing? As from behind Merno, we then see how both the Universe 8 God of Destruction, Liquior, and his angel Korn had then confronted Merno. As Liquior went on to continue, how the hell did you manage to come into this universe undetected, he asks. You will not go any further. This ends right now. As Merno went on to respond, Your threats mean nothing to me, Destroyer. Hello, Korn. So it is true, Korn says. Merno. But how? How are you alive? So that's him, huh? Licure asks, the one the Grand Priest warned us about. It's been far too long, Merno says. Surely you haven't forgotten about me, have you? You seem to be doing well for yourself. Tell me something. How has your position been treating you in this universe? I ask because there won't be one once I'm done here. The last time I saw your face, you stood in silence and watched me suffer. Don't do this, Merno, Korn shouts. This is not the way, my brother. Think about what you're doing. There won't be a universe, huh? Licure asks. Not if I don't see to it to end your life, there won't. You're no angel. You disgraced your title a long time ago. I'm calling your bluff. Then if you're bold enough to call my bluff, Merno says, come stop me then. I will enjoy ripping you apart and making you into my first example, foolish animal. Pathetic, huh? That mouth of yours will be the first thing I detach from your face. You will not disrespect me, as Licure from there was shown dashing directly towards Merno. As from that point on, Korn had begged Licure not to do this, as Korn went on to shout, do not engage! But Licure did not listen, because as Licure went on to punch Merno in the face, this had absolutely no effect on him, as Merno was barely shown even having to flinch, as Licure went on to respond, no way. So as a response, what Licure does is he still attempts to attack Merno anyway, as Merno went on to tell him, your attacks are a joke. As within that very moment, out of nowhere, what Merno had done was Merno had gone in simply having to glare once at Licure, which turned out to be more effective than meets the eye, as Licure's body from that point on was shown crashing through multiple different planets, and even shown getting blown right past his own angel, as from that point on, Merno went on to get behind his brother by telling him, don't assume that you will be exempt from this punishment either, traitor. As with one unexpected and brutal backhand to Korn's face, Korn's body was then shown flying out into the distance, as Merno wanted to emphasize his pain by then telling his brother, your loyalty to that ridiculous child Zeno will cost you dearly. You could have made a difference. You all could, but now I have become the difference maker, and there will be no mercy. But then, to the surprise of Merno, Licure had returned and teleporting in front of Merno by telling him, I agree, there will be no mercy, he says, Hakai! But to the horrifying shock of Licure, the Hakai technique did not work at all, as Licure stood there shocked by responding, it's not working, why isn't it working? This isn't possible. As out of nowhere, it was now Merno's turn in attacking Licure, as Merno went on to uppercut Licure in the stomach by telling him, your failure shouldn't come as a surprise when faced against a superior life form. You had your chance, puny destroyer. My power has no limits. As Licure went on to cough up blood by asking, what are you? Let's lead by example, Merno continues. This technique was fumbled around by the entity known as Goku Black. Let's make use of this properly, as Merno had gone in spawning 2 energy blades and then being shown slicing off Licure's arms. It was only from that point on where Merno went on to tell him, beginning with your arms, these in which were used against you will be taken away, he says. If one chooses to live by the sword, then you will be held to die by the sword, destroyer. As with Licure shown screaming in absolute agony, it was only then where out of nowhere, Korn had attempted in striking Merno from behind, but Merno was in fact fast enough in having to quickly move out of the way, as Korn went on to shout, stop this! You will not, Merno! No, Korn says Merno, I will not. You will wait your turn once I'm done. As again, with one simple punch to the face, Merno had gone in knocking his brother deep into outer space by telling him, ironic how you choose to fight for the destroyer, but never bothered to fight for me when I needed you the most. It's as I said, you will wait your turn. As with Merno then shown turning around and then grabbing Licure by the neck, he then went on to tell him, now back to you. Do you know why this is happening? Because it's destiny, Merno says. I hold the keys to both life and death, not you. I am going to bathe history with your blood. Disgusting placement holder, you had no purpose. And those with no purpose don't belong here, he says. So here's a parting gift, Merno adds, a token for your defiance. History will remember you as being the fool who believed he could have made a difference. Now disappear from existence, Merno says. As with one gigantic blast, Merno had gone in doing exactly what he had said, and that's completely go as far as to wipe out the Universe 8 God of Destruction for good. As from that point on, with nothing remaining, that's when Merno went on to continue, not a trace remaining. The beauty of death will never cease to amaze me. Did he truly think he stood a chance against what I am now? I am beyond the simple power these destroyers possess. As Korn went on to utter, Merno, what have you done? He's gone. The God of Destruction is really gone. Merno, how could you? How could you do this? And now, brother, it's
Fuck that
your
nigga
turn.
up. Nigga, you need to
promised,
get your ass whooped.
why are you in such a loss for words? Did you not think this day would come? Did you not think I was going to return? Why are you not active, Merno asks. Your destroyer was killed. Your duties are over. How are you still functioning, he questions. As an angered Korn went on to respond, you will not get away with this. You know that, don't you? I will do what I must to protect this universe. I am active because the Grand Minister has lifted the laws of us angels. We are permitted to do what we must in order to see this through against you. Interesting, Merno responds. So the Grand Priest calls for his children to be slaughtered instead of facing me directly. Cowardice, he says, but then, out of nowhere from behind Merno, multiple space cops were then shown appearing as they went on to tell Merno, you are under arrest. There he is, right there, target locked, fire, fire, fire. As we then see how all of these ships
that shit wasn't gonna do nothing. Come on now.
At Merno, but
this nigga Merno a fucking beast though.
And
God
once again
damn.
turning around and glaring at the ships directly, none of this had happened to have phased Merno in the slightest, as these individuals were then shown getting killed. As Merno's actions from here on in were enough to warrant a response from Korn, that's when Korn was shown dashing towards Merno directly by telling him, that's enough! I cannot let you destroy what remains in this universe. And you think you will stop me how, Merno asks. As with Merno then shown having to move back and avoiding Korn's staff strike, that's when Korn went on to tell him, I will do what I must. Do not force my hand. You will stop this and face the Grand Priest. But despite what it was that Korn was saying, Merno had gone and grabbing onto Korn's staff by telling him, you and I both know that that won't be happening, Korn. You will stop, Merno, Korn shouts. As from a close enough distance, Korn attempted to blast Merno in the face, but with Merno shown being fast enough and simply having to move his neck in avoiding the attack, back on Beerus' planet, the Grand Priest was then beginning to sense the fight involving Merno and Korn. As the Grand Priest went on to respond, I feared it would come to this. A battle between angels was always forbidden, but to ensure victory, they must do what is needed to protect their positions as angels as well as defending their universe. I sense the battle shifting in Merno's favor, he adds. Korn must hold on long enough for the Omni Kings to grant me approval to intervene, but I fear by then, he continues, it will already be too late. As Whis went on to ask him, he will kill him if this goes on. Are the others aware of Merno's arrival? What are we to do if we are not able to be given access to intervene? They are all aware of Merno's presence, but are not aware of his sudden entry, the Grand Priest says. I will go and contact them now. If I am unable to sway the Omni Kings into stepping in, then the fate of the multiverse rests on your hands, he says. The hands of both the destroyers, mortals, and angels. I trust that whatever happens, we cannot lose the Super Dragon Balls either, the Grand Priest says. In case something happens, they must be gathered to reverse Merno's destruction. As the Grand Priest was then shown using his staff, in going as far as to contact all of the other universes alongside with their destroyers and angels. Before having to do so, that's when the Grand Priest went on to continue, and if we lose those, there is no telling what the Omni Kings will do, which is best to keep them from knowing about Merno for now, he adds. If the Omni Kings were to engage, then they will certainly erase everything at once and leave nothing behind, which is not what we want, the Grand Priest tells Whis. Rulers of the universe, the Grand Priest shouts, both destroyers and angels. I call upon you all during this darkest hour. The fallen angel of the once 13th universe, Merno, has returned. His very influence is causing an imbalance within the multiverse. He has been restored to his former glory.
Man, they got this serious right here.
I call upon you all to do what is needed to protect your universe. The law of the angels has been lifted in order to grant you all with the permission to fight in defense of your universe, he continues. The balance of all creations lies in your ability to do what you can to protect it. Merno has entered the 8th universe and is battling the angel Korn. Its destroyer Liqueur is dead. You are to stand your ground against him at all costs, the Grand Priest says. I shall see to it that the matter is dealt with by speaking with the Omni Mini Kings. No matter the situation, do what is needed to aid and protect each other as equals, with Beerus then responding, "That stupid Merno is really going to force me to work alongside Champa in this? It's not like we really have a choice at this point, my lord," Whis says, especially compared to what Merno is now. He's not the same person as he was before, as we only then take a look at back in Universe 11 in seeing how Jiren was clutching onto Belmont's garment after he was training with Margarita, as the Grand Priest went on to continue, "Protect the Super Dragon Balls from having Merno obtain or destroy them at all costs. I trust that you all will band together during this hour and fight as one. May you all do your absolute best," he says. "This sounds really bad," Vegeta Goku says, "but it looks like we have no choice here. We've got to use everything we have against him." "But will it be enough this time?" Vegeta asks, as Whis went on to chime in, "I'm afraid not. However, in case of an emergency, you must have a backup plan if you two were to fall to him. Having a backup plan is better than fighting blindly," Whis adds. "I need you both to extend your hands to me. You will need these in case things get tough," he continues. "I count that you will both use them at the right time," as Whis went on to spawn a set of Potara earrings in each of their
got the
hands.
Potara.
From there, where Whis went on to continue, now they may appear to be just regular Potara earrings, but they are not. This pair does not crumble under the pressure of power, which means no matter how high you go, you will not be defused. I went on to seal them using a small portion of my angelic power, which means you can fight to your heart's content. They can absorb as much power as you can put out, he adds, and will not separate you until the hour is up. Consider these angel Potaras, as Goku went on to respond, "Whoa, angel Potaras? So me and Vegeta won't have any issue like we did against Zamasu?" "No," Whis says, "you will not. What's also unique is they are able to absorb passive power that's given to it, but only if needed. It's better if we keep these close," Vegeta Goku says. "In case we need them, we wouldn't have to waste any time looking for them." "You're lucky I'm even considering this, Kakarot," Vegeta says. "The message is delivered and my
Shut
time
the fuck
here
up,
is
Vegeta.
up," the Grand Priest says. "I trust you will fight to either destroy him or hold him off long enough for my return. We will not meddle with time. That will be my duty," he says, "and I will see to it that it is done the right way. May you honor your titles and do what is needed. I will see you all very shortly." And as the Grand Priest was then shown taking his leave, we only then go back to Universe 8 and seeing Korn get beaten around by Merno, as Merno then went on to ask him, "Do you remember the beatings I used to give you when we trained to become attendees? Look how far you've fallen. Do you regret your choices now, Korn?" As with Merno then shown getting behind Korn and grabbing him by the back of the neck, he then went on to continue, "You're one of the more interesting ones. Allow me to employ this technique," he says, "something I picked up from the mortals that could be of use. Your power. Give it to me," Merno says. To where as Merno was shown having to drain more of Korn's power, that's when Merno went on to tell him, "A useful ability once used by a mortal named Moro. You won't."
I ain't gonna lie, he gawking Universe 7 right
Do
now.
you feel that? Are you wondering why you are unable to move? Not only am I removing your power, but I am also using a deadly nerve paralyzing technique
That
to
nigga
hold
gawking
you in
Universe
place.
7 powers, ain't
Your
you?
time as an angel is up," Merno says. "May you serve as the ultimate example to show what happens to traitors," Merno shouts. As within that very moment, once again, Merno had gone and spawning yet another energy blade, and from there being shown slicing Korn's body in half, as both Whis and the Grand Priest were able to sense this. With Korn's body being held in place as blood is dripping all throughout space itself, that's when Merno went on to tell him, "You pathetic, dirty, backstabbing fool. Does it hurt? Well, now that half of you is gone, allow me to take care of the rest. A message to the multiverse," Merno says. "There will be no mercy." To where, shockingly enough, within that moment, Merno had gone to do the exact same thing that he had done to Liquor, and that's carry on by blasting Korn's body into pieces, as Merno from there went on to continue, "Music to my ears. Now then, one down, 11 more angels to go. These traitors had this punishment coming," Merno adds, "to think that I am in the wrong. Me. I had everything taken away, and for what?" Merno asks. "This world is nothing but evil, and my own evil just happened to manifest because of it. Because of the circumstances of your actions, not mine. There is only one thing left that needs to be done," Merno says. "This universe must be erased." In which, as Merno had then gone and spawning a gigantic energy blast up above him, he then went on to continue, "The sins of its god, the sins of its angel, and all creatures who stand in the way of my revenge will be eliminated. Let this universe serve as an example to those who dare stand in my path," Merno adds. "It never should have ended this way, but it must, and it will," he continues. "You took everything away from me. Everything I built and protected was ripped away from me, and now it shall be taken away from you. I warned you that this was coming," Merno says. "I warned you that I would come. But this will not end here. This is simply one of 12 to fall. Enjoy the fireworks from your sheltered world," as Merno was then shown creating a portal behind him, and from that point on, Merno had gone and throwing this gigantic ball of energy directly at the center of the universe by responding, "Let this be the final nail in the coffin of this universe." To where as soon as Merno had then gone and making his exit and turning back one more time, before the entire universe was then shown getting erased, that's when Merno went on to comment, "You've had this coming." To where it was only then from that point on, we then see how Universe 8 was then destroyed, as even the Grand Priest could not believe this, as the Grand Priest comments, "Certainly
That nigga ain't playing no game."
"Oh no," he says, "Merno, what have you done?" "Vegeta, look," Goku says, "something's happened. Look at their faces. I've never seen Whis act this way before," with Vegeta responding, "I see it too." "Hey, what the heck just happened? What did Merno just do?" As right before taking off and going back to the Omni King's palace, the Grand Priest had then gone and spawning all 12 universes above him, and going as far as to address the issue by responding, "I no longer sense either the God of Destruction or the Angel of Universe 8. In fact, I no longer sense the universe in existence either. One of the 12 universes that currently stands, it would appear as though with Merno's return, he went on to destroy one of them. There is but darkness that remains," the Grand Priest says. "All traces of life have been destroyed. It's as though Universe 8 has never even existed. An unforgivable act," he says. "The Angel Corn approached Merno with the intent to bring him to justice rather harm, an act that he paid with his life. This further stands that Merno cannot be reasoned with nor apprehended. Merno must go on to be destroyed," the Grand Priest says. "Was he challenged in any kind of way?" Beerus asks. "Yeah, did anyone try and stop him?" Goku asks, with the Grand Priest responding, "I'm not sure what happened, but I can only assume that both its God of Destruction and Angel attempted to do what they could in order to see the situation through. I sensed conflict, which means they attempted to fight, and had ultimately failed. I am to return to Zeno at once," the Grand Priest says. "He cannot be made aware that universes are being destroyed, otherwise he will go on to erase everything as we know it, just as he had once done before. I am to ask for my request to use my power to end this. Do what you can," the Grand Priest says. "Do not attempt to capture him. It will only lead you down the same path it led Korn. Fight to protect and fight to destroy. I will return in the meantime," the Grand Priest says. "I will employ my skills to do what is needed," Whis says, "but I must know, if we are to fall, could there still be a way to see this through? If the Dragon Balls are protected, could they be used to restore the lives Merno has ripped away? What if he were to destroy those in the process?" With the Grand Priest responding, "If you were to fail, then there are only two who stand in his path, myself and the Omni Kings. If one of the 7 Dragon Balls were to be destroyed, then there is no way to reverse the damage that Merno has caused. From what I'm sensing, Merno is far beyond any of my children and any destroyer and mortal I've seen, but he is not invincible. Merno is beatable, but it will not be easy to do. Let's not forget he stood as my mightiest angel," he adds. "And although he is mighty, hope still remains," he says. "There is still a way to win, even without me, but your greatest chance lies with me by your side. Remember what's on the line," the Grand Priest says. "I bid you all a farewell for now." To where as soon as the Grand Priest was shown leaving, an irritated Beerus went on to respond, "Damn this angel. Beyond any destroyer, huh? We'll see about that. I will not be made into a fool by him again. Hey, Goku, Vegeta, what are you two planning? If he were to come here next, what's your strategy? You better not mess this up. As Goku went on to turn towards Vegeta in responding, to be honest, I don't think we have one. Hey, Vegeta, I think it's best if we go back to Earth and let everyone know what's going on. Good thinking, Vegeta says. We may need them in case we aren't enough. It won't be much, but it's the best chance we have. I would encourage you to put all of your differences
I'm on chapter
aside,
like 3 right
says,
now, ain't
and
I?
get whoever you can to aid us in this battle. Anything less and our chances will fall short. As Beerus went on to chime in, this includes Frieza too. Don't go fighting each other until we made sure that Merno is dead. Well, grab on, Vegeta, Goku says. We'll see what we can do, Lord Beerus. Let's just hope that we can get everyone to be on the same page. We'll be back shortly, Vegeta says, to where as Goku was then shown using instant transmission, Beerus went on to further emphasize by shouting, "You better, and no fighting amongst each other." So he destroyed the universe like that. When we were fighting him here, although he was stronger than us, you were able to hang in there, Whis. So why is it different now? Tell me, what makes him so scary that we need to fear him now? As Whis went on to respond, well, for one, this is Merno's true angel form from what I remember him by. And the other is that his true power before he was taken down has been restored. And what makes him so dangerous now is that he is not holding back. Merno was the first angel that was born and trained by the Grand Priest. He was also the first among the angels to approach his level of power. Although at the time he was still nowhere near the Grand Priest, but there was no doubt that he was on that path. But this was before his heart turned black and before this hatred he has, so there's no telling how powerful he truly is. As Beerus responds, great. It's bad enough that I nearly died before. Whis, we need to come up with a plan. He could be on his way to us right now as we speak. We can't take any risks. As in the meantime, with the Grand Priest shown returning back to the Omni King's palace, the Grand Priest then went on to comment, this entire situation could have been avoided a long time ago if you had only accepted your fate, Merno. I will do what must be done in order to see this through to the end, but not without getting approval in order to do what I must, he adds. I can only hope the others will take care of him before my arrival. But even then, I'm not sure if I will be given the permission I need to do what I must. I must reason with the Omni Kings accordingly, and as the Grand Priest was shown having to enter the throne room, it was only from that point on where the Grand Priest went on to greet the Omni Kings by commenting, greetings, almighty sires. It's the Grand Minister. Have you come to play? I'm afraid not, your Majesty. I humbly come to you during this dark hour to ask you for your approval on a matter that requires my presence. This request comes as an emergency, he says. An emergency request? Did something happen? What is your approval for, the Omni Kings ask? As we only then make our way back to Merno, and seeing how Merno had now once again entered another universe, that's when Merno went on to make his exit by responding, but of course, Universe 3, home of the technologically advanced super fighters of the cosmos. Home of its destroyer
shit, he about to fuck up the
Moscow
robots.
and their brother Kapari. Traitorous fools, do they honestly believe machines will be enough to save them from what's coming? Pathetic. These warriors spawn from scraps of metal and wires. We have nothing in common, Merno says. Now let's see, Merno says. Where are you? I sense a collective of energy signals ahead, including my brother and his destroyer. So, you've prepared for me, is that it? They must have been informed by the Grand Priest of my arrival, Merno says. No matter, though. I will hunt them all down if it's the last thing I do. And these worlds around me, they are unworthy of such divinity. They are unworthy of existing in my world. Let them all be purged, Merno adds, as once again, as soon as Merno went on to open his eyes, we only then see how once again hundreds of planets within the blink of an eye are then shown being destroyed, as in the meantime we then see how both Kapari and Moscow are seemingly enough gathering the Universe 3 fighters together, as from that point on, Kapari went on to address everyone by responding, Moscow says that no matter what happens, he wants all of you to employ and use everything you have in this fight. We will be aiding you in the meantime, but then all of a sudden, Kapari went on to hear a very familiar voice. As Merno had now finally found his way to both the God of Destruction and his brother, that's when Merno went on to respond by asking, and just what exactly do you hope to accomplish with those pathetic weaklings by your side? That voice, Kapari says, and as soon as Kapari went on to turn around, he was only
that
then met by
nigga,
none other
he's
than
just
his
pulling
brother
up
Merno.
on
As
niggas.
Merno went on to tell
Fuck.
his brother, "It's been a long time, Kapari. How could I ever forget? You were one of the ones who called for my exile. I hope you know that you are about to get what you had coming for a very long time. So I see you assembled an army of machine mutants to stop me," Merno says. "Well, just so you all know, you will all get what's coming. Every single one of you. So then, which one of you lambs is the first to be slaughtered?" Merno asks. "The shepherd has come home, and now it's time for the cattle to be
Okay. Apparently I watched like 3 chapters in one. I didn't realize that. This nigga, I'm watching the whole 9-hour thing, so I'm just getting lost. I'm like, what the fuck going on? Okay. So so I think I did the little research. That's why I was on my phone. So in the video you see me on my phone, I was checking like, where the fuck does this shit end? So I was checking the chapters manually. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm on chapter 3. So I just finished chapter 3. So 1, 2, 3. Fire. This is fire. Thanks for this recommendation. I didn't mean to watch 3 chapters in one video, but damn, this is how he set up. I'm watching the full story together. So anyway, you like my reaction? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.